Oh,
The recording is in progress, Carlos.
yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. As usual, today is UNIT's weekly meeting, the 6th June. So today, on the behalf of the Secretary General, I'm going to coordinate and facilitate today's meeting. So I will start by telling you that you mute your micro. And then if you want to talk, you raise your hand, and then kindly we shall tell you what to unmute your mic, and then you say what you want to say. Then we have the proposed agenda here. But before going to the proposed agenda, we just now sent a message to the different or country chapters telling them that concerning what yesterday event, those people or those countries who did what the tree or peace planting yesterday, they should send, they should forward what they are different words, visuals, that is reports. So that's for the that is for the purpose what accountability, because we need to have a database. Then we shall now continue after this thing. We have the first point that we have here today is the opening remark. So the continental president, the continental president is going to give the opening remark before we continue. If Dr. Carlos is around, so Mr. President, you have the honor to give the opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Leno. I advise that you go through the agenda so that people understand clearly where we are going from the beginning to the end. Can you do it? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the different points that we're going to debate today are, the first point is the opening remarks, which will be given by the continental president. The second point will be the introduction of guests. The third point, reflection on the tree planting events to mark the World Environment Day in both Africa and the diaspora, suggestions, challenges, and also recommendations. Then the fourth point will be what the TOT sessions. The first presenter will be today, Mr. Eric, who's from Kenya. It will be on the promotion of women empowerment, opportunities, and rights. I'll give him 30 minutes, and then we go to Q&A. Then the next presenter will be Nicola Bilika from GRC on the durability of agricultural holdings. The next presenter will be, and the last, Augustine Linamo from also Kenya, Moran regreening interventions, also 30 minutes. Then the last point will be what? The AOB. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leno. And I want to welcome everybody today to our usual UnityNet Africa and Diaspora Monday sessions. Of course, so this is a session where we normally collaborate, discuss important issues about the development of Africa. And it is also a space where we provide capacity building for our people in Africa and also the diaspora. So it is a movement that we invite others who do not know about this particular Monday session, that it is of importance event to them, that they are welcome to join this. They are not paying anything. but rather they will be benefiting a lot of ideas that will be promoting their development interface in their different countries, in their different districts, different communities. So therefore, I want to appreciate all the UNAT people and also as well as the UNI people, the UnityNet international people. Yesterday, we had a successful, wonderful event that we're going to talk about very soon. The World Environmental Day, that we all join hands to support the process, to support implementation of practices of how we can regain Mother Earth again. And that goes also to us to ensure that we have security, we have peace, we have food sufficiency, etc. So without wasting time, please let us invite others to join this particular. It's just once a time, once a week. All right. And we also want to encourage others, those who have expertise in anything that you think that will help Africa to rebrand itself. Please show yourself, please share your ideas with us. We'll provide a platform for you to do presentation or a training session or a dialogue session that will help Africa. This is the only way knowledge with the rightful capacity that can help rebrand Africa. There is no other means. And with unity, with willingness, with commitment. So I thank you all for coming, and I hope to see us through. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Leonard.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for your remark. So as we said it here previously, after this opening remark, we go to the next point, which is the introduction of the guests. If there's any new person, it is your first time to join this meeting, kindly you can unmute and you introduce yourself. Is there any new participants?
Yeah, there's somebody new. Yes.
Hi, good day.
Yes.
Good day.
Ahead.
My name is Marukia from Suriname.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
My name is Marukia from Suriname. I work for the government, the Ministry of Trade and Commerce. That's all I have to say for now.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Marukia, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
Where are you from?
I'm from Suriname. I'm from Suriname. A country between Guyana and French Guyana.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see Mr. Okay, thank you, Nick. Nick, I can see your hand. Go ahead. Yes. Any other person? Any other person? Okay, so I think that's
So Carlos, is it
nobody else? Okay.
Carlos, if it's appropriate now, Do you want me to begin streaming or do you want me to wait till the presentations?
Then we go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So what's the next point?
The next point is the reflection on the tree planting events.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is the
Challenges and suggestions, challenges and recommendations.
Yeah, Carlos, this is where I suggest we begin live streaming now so that our audience can get a better understanding about what happened yesterday. May I begin streaming?
Yes, go
I think
ahead,
you can
Andrew.
begin.
Okay, it'll take just a moment, please. Bear with me.
Okay. So that's the next point. Reflection on the tree planting event. To mark the World Environment Day in both Africa and the diaspora. Suggestions, challenges, and recommendations. Hello?
Yes, Andrew is preparing the slot.
That was down there. So it's dark with the light. And people might get back.
Meanwhile, as we are waiting for the slot,
Yeah.
I want again thank everybody. Yesterday we had the World Environmental Day. UnityNet Africa and Diaspora and UnityNet International participated warmly. It was a wonderful event that countries all over the world came together to promote what they call security, environmental safety. By promoting, yes, are you ready?
Yeah, we're live streaming now. So start from the beginning to give our audience an introduction, please, about what we're doing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrew. Yes, so I want to welcome you to this wonderful session, UnityNet Africa and Diaspora. And every Monday, we normally have it using the global times, different times wherever you find yourself. But today specifically, we want to remind ourselves what happened yesterday, the World Environmental Day, that UnityNet African Diaspora, together with UnityNet International, both organizations joined United Nations to commemorate, to observe this wonderful day. By not only singing and dancing, drinking and eating, by ensuring that we promote what we call trees of peace and reconciliation planting. So yesterday, we had several countries all over the world that are working or that are working with UNET and UnityNet International that planted several trees in their different countries, in their different districts or wards or communities. We really appreciate all those countries that participated yesterday, and we want to say bravo to UnityNet International, the Canada team. They demonstrated their contribution yesterday. We saw it live on Facebook, on Zoom, whilst the process of the tree planting was going on. It was really, really colorful and ceremonic. And also we saw it also in different African countries like Tanzania, Sierra Leone, Kenya, Uganda, Guinea, etc. Several other countries also did or participated in that tree planting. That was a very good step, a wonderful step, a united step. All of us came together to ensure that we rebrand or we restructure Mother Earth again. It is our responsibility. I want to encourage everybody that do your best what you can to ensure that we reduce the challenges surrounded what we call climate change that are really affecting the whole world today, each and every one of us. So therefore, what happened yesterday was remarkable, and it was also a memory for us that last year in 2021, we also had another tree planting that took place in Sierra Leone and in Canada. That was very, very good. And so we continue the process. So I want to encourage everybody that don't wait until you have funds, you have money for you to plant trees, for you to promote tree planting. Do your best, even if it is one tree, for you to plant it. Please do it. Whatever trees you are able to plant within yourself or at home level, at community level, at district level, at country level, please do it. Don't wait for funds. When you have the funds, you can just add to what you have been doing now. Because when you plant the tree will help to protect you, will bring you a very good life. The tree will bring you fruits, will bring you food. So please, let us promote fruit orchard. In Africa, let's plant trees that promote fruits. It is very, very important for us to gain food security. And this is very, very good for all of us. So I implore everyone to look at this so that next year we're going to make it big again. And of course, we are sure to collaborate with several organizations internationally next year. So therefore, let's look at what happened yesterday in Canada and Africa. Let's talk about it, maybe just 5 or 10 minutes before the presentations. What we can learn from it, what went well, where we have challenges, and what are the recommendations. This is very, very key. So you can suppose good suggestions that will help. Thank you. Yes, Andrew, I see your hand.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Yes, thank you so much. I was very pleased and honored yesterday to host an all-day Zoom session so that anyone that had a tree planting event could share it with the rest of the world. Lloyd Helferty was the main driver of this effort, and we did, in fact, have 2 events yesterday that we were able to stream and record. During the first one, Reverend Sampson from Kenya also did a tree planting. So we had the opportunity to show that we have a global reach for what we're doing. I do want to invite everyone that did an event yesterday to inbox Carlos so he can provide to me that content. Our intent is to put together all of these activities that happened yesterday so that we can present that in a very polished manner and build towards next year. Our efforts now are only a continuation of work that's already begun. I believe Carlos will agree at least 2 years ago. So what we want to do is take advantage of this global platform, not just let people know what we've done and what we're doing, but hopefully with the help of Lisa, Anise, and others, be able to attract funding to support the activities that we have. But you can find these streams on the AHIABGA Network Facebook page. And of course, I did upload it to YouTube. I'll provide that to Carlos later. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. just mention that, yes, we want to strengthen our activities. So we all saw it. So please, we encourage everyone in the global world, in the global development. We are now promoting tree planting all over the world to ensure that next year we want to plant 16 billion trees in Africa. That is the major plan we have. And we can't do that without resources. It's a major intervention that we want everyone to come on board to support UnityNet Africa and Diaspora and UnityNet International. So welcome you, as just Andrew said, for you to add, for you to come in, for you to, whatever you have that will help to promote this tree planting and other activities in the area of education, in the area of agriculture, in the area of health, in the area of sports, and different areas. We thank you, and we will welcome ideas as to how we can do it best next year.
Yeah, thank you. I can see your hand. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Nicolas.
So hello again.
Hello.
So I'm very happy to join today's meeting. Yesterday I was also in the meeting about the trees planting, but unfortunately I didn't finish the minutes because of the network. So let me intervene about the trees planting. So last time Professor Leod has launched an appeal to call people in different domains together. So he said he needs experts in agriculture, in economy, and so on and so forth. So I would like to react about that initiative, because although we can say we can plant many trees, but Africa needs much and so many studies in terms of trees planting, because Africa has a diverse of climates. So the climate we have in DRC is not the climate we have in Rwanda, is not the climate we have in other countries. So my question is to know that process of selecting specialists in different domains. So is it going on? The process, has it finished or what? So this is my question about this. Thank you.
So,
Welcome.
Nicholas, are you asking that the specialists, for instance, tree planting? Is that what you said?
Hello?
Yeah, are you talking about, for instance, a specialist in the area of tree planting, etc.?
Yes, I'm a mango specialist in that domain.
Well, generally, I just want to say this. In this,
yes,
and in UnityNet Africa and Diaspora, we have expertise of various areas in the area of agriculture. And within agriculture, those who are qualified in the different specific areas of agriculture. So they are within us, and they are technically advising the process, and they are within the program unit. We have a program unit that deals with programs or projects at African level. So therefore, anything that we want to do, any project we want to do, that's a group that specifically advise UnityNet Africa and Diaspora. And we have both African people as well as international people there. Of course, our major advisor in that area is Stephanie, who is in the University of Toronto. All right, she's a doctorate in the area of education and other stuff, you know. So another, so we have so many specialists in Africa, of course, as well as also outside Africa. And Andrew to know something about tree planting.
He's an expert.
Yes, yes. Henrik is there. Henrik is an expert from South Africa. He's an expert.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So thank you. Good, welcome.
And I think concerning what the yesterday event, and the successes and challenges. If there's any recommendations, we also talk about it. So if you think that it is enough, we can go to the next session. Yes, Nicholas, go ahead.
So thank you again for the floor. I'm really very happy about the reaction that preceded my intervention.
Okay.
But I have a suggestion about this project of trees planting.
Okay.
So the suggestion is that Africa is bigger. Africa is very, very big. So we have about 54 countries. I'm not sure that the committee, which is practically strong, that we should have some other local, let's say, local committees, which deals, for example, with all countries in Central Africa, all countries grouped in the South, all countries grouped in the West, and so on and so forth. Because if you let this committee from outside to lead all activities, maybe they will have so many projects to deal, so many projects to lead, and maybe the task will be bigger than what they can think. So this is my suggestion. Thank you.
That's a very good observation.
You're welcome.
I want,
yeah.
yes,
Yes.
Nicholas, I want to allay your fears, and not only you and everyone, that in every country in Africa, we have a chapter. Well, it's not all the countries for now that we have chapters. We have few countries that where UnityNet Africa and Diaspora is currently operating. And so in those countries, we have chapters that are representing UNAD. So therefore, anything that, for instance, if you are in Tanzania, you are an organization in Tanzania, you want to work or collaborate with UNAD or UnityNet, you go through the chapter in Tanzania. The same thing also in DRC, the same thing also in all other countries that we are currently operational. So that is actually the scheme. And so we don't just take organizations or people like that. We want to ensure that you are credible, you have integrity to work with us, because our first stand is to promote what we call transparency and accountability. That is our first goal. And we leave no one behind. We target everybody. So we want to ensure that we have the right people, we have the right organizations that we are going to work with. At the end of the day, when we have funds, when we have anything to support that country, those organizations, so we will not hesitate. We will work with you and support the process of what you're doing. At the end of the day, it has a feedback to us, at regional level in Africa and at global level, because let us remember, we are also working under UnityNet International, which is the parent body that is governing UnityNet Africa and Diaspora. Thank you.
So thank you also.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Nicola. Yes, anyone else got something to say? Yeah, hello? Hello?
Donc, on
I think, Mr. Leno, you can go ahead.
Who is there?
Yes.
Yeah, this person should mute. Yeah,
Mr.
somebody's
Nicholas
speaking there.
is still, yes. Yes.
Nicola, yeah. Okay. Okay. So we go to the next point. If this one is okay, T and T sessions. The first presenter, we're going to Kenya, who is Mr. Eric. Mr. Eric is going to present on the promotion of women empowerment, opportunities, and rights. I'm going to give him 30 minutes. So is Mr. Eric there?
Yes, please. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you for the opportunity. And I can't take much time. I just want to be in short because we had a lot and we need to at least to synthesize so that the time cannot be wasted. Is there any possibility so that I can share my screen?
Yeah, you can share.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I don't think I have a problem to share the.
You can share your screen.
Document.
You cannot share, then you send it to Andrew so that I can share it for you.
Okay, thank you. Give me a minute so that I can send it to him.
Is it rescue? Is it?
Yes, is it rescuing?
Okay, I can help you with that. Is this one?
Thank you. Yes, please. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay. Greetings, leaders. As mentioned previously that my name is Eric Alois Josue. I'm a refugee living in Kenya, Kakuma refugee camp, and I'm the founder for the Rescue Wings. I don't want to take much time because now I'm working according to the time frame. In short, Rescue Wings, it stands for response for emergency situation and cope for unpredictable events. And women means stand for wings mean stand for women investing in new goals and services. In short, that we came across with this name when we started to see that there is challenges, a lot of challenges whereby women and children are going through, especially within the community. And about the Rescue Wings is a small organization. It is not bigger, even if we call it international, but it is not bigger. It is small ones, non-political, not religious. We use most of time to work closely with local and international leaders in order to tackle all challenges, protection, case risk, which people, especially women and children, are facing within the community. Our vision and mission, our vision is to see house with dignity and safety. And our mission most of the time is working shoulder by shoulder with the women, young girls, children across the globe, protecting their right and make sure that they reach their dream through education program, livelihood program, and social support. So we came across with project but currently we didn't yet implement it. That is what I want to first to present it to you leaders, so that we can at least exchange some ideas and see if it can be possible to be implemented. The project is about promotion of women empowerment, opportunity, and right. And most this project will be focused in order to support refugees in Kakuma and Kalube settlements. Because when I say Kakuma and Kalube settlement, there is two people. It is two places where refugees are living, and according to the context for our refugees area, our country of Kenya is hosting two big camps. The first one is Dadaab, and the second one is Kakuma. And when we say about Kakuma, we see directly also Kalube near, and most of the vulnerable people who are suffering there is about females and children. And according to the short description that I show inside, Kakuma is holding the number and the percentage, most of them that vulnerable people who are suffering is the females. And the challenge is about the limitation of access for livelihood opportunities for the women instead of women. So we have some actors who tried to make sure that they minimize the challenges which are facing the women and the other population around the camp through some provision of self-employment opportunities of skills, and also they add more vocational training. But it is not enough, because currently we have a lot of number which is increasing. So I try to make in short this, to paraphrase this sentence so that you can understand that our areas, we have more population, and most of them women and children who are vulnerable due to lack of enough opportunity, and that opportunity it comes for livelihood sectors. But our other actors are trying to solve them, but it is not easier. That is why we have the risk wing. We want also to make sure that we grab this opportunity to help other actors to make sure that we minimize the challenges which they are going through. Can you please go to the next step? Thank you so much. As I mentioned previously that we have two camps. We came across through our research, the increase of refugees has come across. We have a lot of number of refugees, especially new arrival, and the opportunity is inadequate, is not adequate. And most of them, they have a limited on literacy and numeracy level, with the low access for climate condition. So the women and the girls population continue to grow and has limited access to livelihood opportunity. So we we came across after research that we came across with these challenges that they are facing most of the time, the community. Most of household females who are the head of the household, and children, they are many size. When we say about size, you come across that females, they are the head of the household, but also they are facing challenges to bring up child, to take care for their child, due to the size and the challenges of opportunity of livelihood. So we came across with this unique opportunity, so that in order to make sure that we start the pilot innovative approach in order to boost the local economy. So we are still trying to make sure that we support this problem and make sure that we come across with good solution to the community. Thank you. Can you go to the next step, please? Okay, project description. Rescuing program is designed to be in line with the related livelihood strategies, which is to decrease dependency and increase self-reliance for the people who concerned, and host community. We are living with host community. Those host communities are the people who gave us a space to live, but also for them they are still vulnerable within the community. So when you compare to other refugees and the host community, there is a level that we refugees sometimes we are better than them. So this opportunity also we need to at least include some percentage for the host community to support them when we are trying to solve the challenges for refugees. The program will support the solution, especially to the local integrity and the returns. This community believes that resilience it's only the way to support the response for the challenges which people are facing within the community. Through the livelihood program, we believe that when we give them more skills, when we support them economically, it will reduce the challenges which women and girls are facing. So that is why we need to create more opportunity and make sure that we make the beneficiary to understand and come out for the risk that they are facing. So it is better to make sure that we support each other. So okay, this is the small roadmap what we came from, the outcomes, the impact, output, and the strategy that we tried to mention for how we will succeed our plan and what will be the outcome for the program. Can we go to the next one? Okay, our target for this project, we mentioned that our target, it is better to reach 10,000 beneficiaries, and refugees must be at least 8% because this is our main target, and the host community must be 20%, and most of them, they will be at least those people who came from the from the from the background, from the people who faced at least the challenges with the livelihood challenges. And the area targeted, it is a Kakuma refugee camp, Kakuma 1, because Kakuma is divided into 4, Kakuma 1, Kakuma 2, Kakuma 3, and Kakuma 4, Kalobe settlement, and also the host community whereby Turkana are living. So the project result, the organization we need to make sure that the results that we bring up must be the results that are going to give the future for the community. It will be the feedback which is going to give the light to the community, so that people can get a lot of skills, can be self-resilience, and also can be at least can depend by themselves. And this is our work plan, how we planned. And if you see, there is two parts. There is a previous work for livelihood projects that we have been running previously, and the other one, this is the time frame for our projects that we plan to kick on. We need to start with planning and sensibility meeting with all project stakeholders, recruitment and selection for the beneficiaries, conducting needs assessment for the selected beneficiaries, acquisition of training materials and equipment, identification and engagement of trainers, conducting a 3-month vocational training to the beneficiaries, project monthly monitoring, evaluation, project evaluation. So we need at least to work with this plan, even if at least for three months, we need to train some target number. As we mentioned previously, that we will need to reach 10,000 beneficiaries. So we need at least to make sure that after 3 months we train the numbers. After 3 months we train the numbers and making a follow-up on their progress. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Eric, for this wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. We do appreciate. Now we heard Mr. Eric. So if there's any comments or question concerning this presentation, then you can kindly raise your hand and then ask. Yeah, Mr. Andrew.
Well, thank you so very much for the presentation. Could you please stop sharing the screen now, Carlos? And I do want to first commend Eric's work. I've been connected with them now for quite some time. I've done all I can to connect with our various networks. Eric, please tell us how many women your program has actually helped, and tell us about the outcomes for those women. Thank you.
Pardon, I didn't get very well the questionnaire because I have challenges.
How many women has Rescue Wing helped since it began, and what are you doing now that you need help with? Thank you.
How many women and men?
Okay, you mean the the data
Yeah, the
that
topic.
we have already supported. The number for the beneficiary supported already, right?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. In agriculture, currently we have 200 in agriculture. In business, we have only 150. Those are the people who are working on VSLA. VSLA means that we are training them for how to save in group small amount, because we're giving only mentorship program within the community, show them for how they can start by themselves. We still having not enough numbers, still few numbers, and for the other one who are working on making bed sheet, because they're differently, we don't have much. In total, they can reach 500.
So I saw recently that you had graduation exercises. How many women have graduated from your programs over the years?
Sorry?
I saw you had graduation ceremonies recently on Facebook where women had graduated from one of your courses. How many women have been through your courses or have graduated from the time you started rescuing?
We have different programs. We have education, we have technologies, we have business for, entrepreneurship and agriculture. The one that I mentioned, it belonged to entrepreneurship and agriculture, but I didn't mention about ICT. I didn't mention about gender-based violence, the training for gender-based violence. I didn't mention the number for the other program. The one that I mentioned is about only for specifically for entrepreneurship and agriculture. So
exactly.
if it is needed,
that's
if
my
it is
Exactly.
needed,
that's my
sorry?
point. You have time now to share with us that information. Don't hold back. This is your opportunity. Tell us what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Currently, we for the agriculture, we don't have much. As I mentioned previously, combining agriculture and entrepreneurship, because we started it late due to funding, and we planned for a long time, but we still having 500 numbers in those space. But for ICT currently we have 1,500 girls graduated, and when we reach for education, we supported remedial classes. For those who are in high school, we supported 300, and also we have already trained for GBV, gender-based violence. There are more than 100 and 800. So it is matter now if I need the data for the whole data. It will be better if you need the whole record. It is matter now to make sure that I share it to you guys by the next program available.
Well, thank you. I'm taking the
Yes.
time to share my screen now so that our audience can see you have a Facebook page called Rescuing International. Once you go to that Facebook page, you can actually click on the link that brings you to this website. I'm very excited about what Eric is talking about. I see that we have Juliet Mayabo that just joined us, also Susan Yeager. We have members of our network that are focusing on gender-based violence. I know that's one thing that you address. I just need you to understand that this is your opportunity to share with us how we can help you, help the women that you're involved with. Could you walk us through your website, please?
Okay. Do you want me to?
Did you get him?
No. I need the voice is down.
That is, you need to have page, a Facebook page. Okay, when you have it,
Yes, I
and
have.
then you can share it with them, and they will see how they can help you.
Okay, well, Facebook page. I think you open
And
it.
even
Let me. That is a Facebook page.
yeah.
That is a Facebook page. Maybe I can share also. Please give me a minute.
On the Facebook page, you can click through to this website. Your website has much more information. So I'll put this in the link as well. I'm asking our audience to do your homework and find out about what is going on with Rescue Wing, because they deal with helping hands, boundaries, community safety, IDPs, health. These are areas that all of us are involved with. So I'm asking us to do our work and finding out more how we can help Eric. Eric, do you want to share your screen, or can you?
I cannot make it because I tried before, it didn't work. Can I send my
Hello?
links to you on WhatsApp?
Yes.
Yes.
Please.
The WhatsApp
Thank you.
also is
Please give
possible.
me.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Yes. Anyone else?
Well, I want to, yes, I want to thank Nicholas. This is a great presentation, and I love what you presented today, and the directory and the composition of hits. So I wanted to ask the issue of disabilities, if it is part of his scheme. I don't see. Okay, as you are dealing with refugees and all these people, community people. Thank you.
Mr. President, I can't hear very well because the voice is crashing from our side.
What about disability? Do you help people with disabilities? Does Rescue Wing help people with disabilities? Yes. Tell us about that.
Yes, we used to include all of them inside, as long as they are also part of the guideline of women empowerment. We include all of them. We deal with all of them.
How? Do you have specific projects? Tell us about your work.
Sorry?
Tell us about your work with people with disabilities.
Okay, for the people with disability, we used to give them, most of time is about counseling, and most of them we support them to turn back to school, because most of them are discouraged when they reach to community. They can't turn back to school, especially because they feel that they're discriminated, and they are not accepted to work with other girls or other pupils around the school. So we use to make sure that we reach house by house. We use to make sure that we reach schools. We encourage them. We give them a space so that they have to learn, and that is why we have been trying to reach UNHCR in order to make sure that we work with them closely, to make sure that people with disability get a space within the schools and within the community to be respected. So most of the time we support them in order to make sure that the projects that we have been trying to work on is about counseling and social support for them.
Thank you, Carlos. Does that answer your question, Carlos?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's actually, yes, one of the key elements I want to encourage all organizations in Africa to ensure that we have disability as part of our scheme because it's very, very key. All right.
Thank you. I sent the links to leader William, to Andrew, so that she maybe he can assist us to share to the team. I send it through WhatsApp. He can assist us to send to the team.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Eric.
Thank you, leaders.
Yeah, who else? Is there any other question before we go to the next, before we move to the next presenter? Okay, we go to the next presenter, who is also Nicolas Mbilika from GR Congo. Is presenting on the durability of agricultural holdings. Is Mr. Nicolas around? Mr. Nicolas, are you there?
Hello. Yes, I'm there.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm fine. What about you?
I will thank God.
Good. So let me check first the documents.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it documents?
Yeah, that is it.
Yes.
Do you see the document, please?
Yeah, we can see.
Yes.
Good. So, hello once more again.
Hi.
Fine. So my name is Nicolas Mbilika from DRC Congo. Today is a pleasure for me to present again. And the title of my presentation is entitled A Test on Durability of Agricultural Holding in South Kivu. So South Kivu is a place where I live. South Kivu is a place where we have different activities. Good. So this presentation is a fruit of a given research that we made here in South Kivu, because since I have finished my studies, I tried to involve in agricultural domain, and I studied also agriculture at university. So this is a fruit of given research we're doing here in South Kivu, precisely in Walungu territory. Welcome. So it starts with an introduction. Do you hear me, please?
We can hear you.
Yes, we hear you clearly. Yes.
Good. So this, I said, is the fruit of our research, and we wanted to write a paper about this. So about the introduction, let me tell that the economy of South Kivu is largely dominated by agriculture. So we have about 70% of active people in agriculture in South Kivu. And in DRC, generally, we have more than 80% of people involved in agriculture. So this has pushed us to have a need on agriculture matter, because most of the people are engaged on it. But what is the problem now of this system? The problem is that in South Kivu, precisely in Walungu, where we made the research, most of farmers possess the too little lands for farming. It means we don't have a ranch as we have ranch in USA, big spaces where people can cultivate, big spaces where people can have breeding activities. But here in South Kivu, we have small spaces in terms of hectares where people practices agriculture. And the second problem is that they practice agriculture for their own benefit. It means they produce to eat. Well, there is a need to have, for example, there is a need to have maize. The person can possess 2 hectares and the person can cultivate in order to have maize and transform them into flour. So this is the 2 problems. First, we don't have spaces to cultivate. And second, we have little spaces. Despite this preponderance of agriculture in rural economic activity in South Kivu, people are still living poverty. And now this is a dilemma, why people are engaged in agriculture, but they don't have incomes for that. According to this research, it was better for us to choose a given tool that could be used in order to identify if agricultural system in South Kivu was durable, because nowadays we are talking about the durability of agricultural activity. Is agricultural activity durable or not? So we choose the tool which is called the IDEA, IDEA in French, which is a tool which is required to analyze the durability of activities. This is the part concerning the methodology of this research. And the second point is about the choice of the farm sustainability indicators. And as I said before, we use the IDA method. And the IDA method was invented in France. And the IDA method has actually 5 versions. We have the version 1 up to version 5. And this is a real tool that is used to analyze the durability of the agricultural system. Before going ahead, I would like to come back to the first point concerning the introduction, where I forget to say what was the objective of this research and what was the hypothesis of this research. So concerning the objective of the research, the first point was to identify different elements which are involved in making agriculture durable in South Kivu. So what are the main elements involved in durability of agriculture in South Kivu? A second was to determine different classes of agricultural sectors in South Kivu. So do all farmers have the same characteristic? Do they have differences in terms of aspects? So the aim was to classify different farmers into different classes. And at least we should have some hypotheses. And the first hypothesis was we suppose that we should have different classes in terms of farmers. So after collecting different farmers into different classes according to some criteria, we should now have the time to select them and to classify them into different classes according to their difference and according to their resemblance. So let's now going before. Now the point is concerning description of the data. And as I said, we took a sample of 500 farmers because we have a questionnaire that we use to collect some data, and we took the sample of 500 farmers. And let me tell you something about the IDA, because this is the tool that we use to collect some data. Hello. My God.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, do you hear me,
Hello?
please?
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you.
Yes, do you hear me? Good.
Yes.
Now the points concerning the description of the data. The points concerning the description of the data, as I said, the IDA method is a conceptual framework based on the dimension of the properties of sustainability. Because the question was to know, because we have so many farmers in South Kivu, but the great question was to know, is their activity durable? Because the durability of agriculture is online today. So the IDA combines 2 approaches, and these 2 approaches are based on sustainable agriculture goals. And the IDA methods includes both strong sustainability and agricultural multifunctionality priorities. It takes into account the global challenges of sustainable agriculture. And as I said before, this IDA tools, which is used to analyze the durability of agricultural system, has some indicators. And nowadays, the version 5 of IDA has 53 indicators. And these indicators can be classified into 3 main aspects. It means all questions that we have in the questionnaire we could use to collect samples, the questions should be classified into 3 main groups. The first group is a group in which we have all questions regarding the agricultural aspect and the environment. The second group is a group where we could have all questions about the economic aspect involved in agriculture. Here we should have some questions concerning the income, some questions concerning let's say the amount of money that is involved in agricultural activity and the benefit that people take from agricultural system. And at least we should have some ecology questions. So these are the 3 main questions that we should have in IDA when we are collecting data. So the sample, as I said, 500 farmers that we ask some questions. So I will be showing you the questions and all the results at least, but I'm telling you that this is a paper and we didn't finish yet collecting data. Let's now go to the result of viability of farm in South Kivu. From the logic model of liability, we obtained 6 variables that significantly explain the state of poverty. And this was among the real problem that we face when introduction this work. As I said, most of agricultural people here in South Kivu, they have little spaces, but they're also undergoing poverty, although they are farmers. So the role of the farmers organization, the size of the household, the length, the newer, the diversification of agricultural products, the market power, the productivity in value per hectare. So these are the 6 elements, variable, that significantly explain the state of the poverty. Let me give, for example, an example. We have 2 main systems of producing here in South Kivu. We have the monocultural system and we have the polycultural system. So we have discovered that most of the people, when they have a land that is reduced, it means a land that is not real big, they are obliged to use the polycultural system. It means they need to have a different culture on the same land, what the land is too little. And this leads to the fact of that the productivity will be lower. And when the productivity will be lower, the income also will be lower. And this can lead to poverty. The size of their household. In South Kivu, we have discovered that most of farmers use their families as the labor in terms of works in their farming activities. And when the person has a great number of people involved in his activities, the person will have the possibility to have the higher income, and this will help him to have some money and quit poverty. So these are 6 elements that significantly explain the state of poverty. On the other hand, the farmer's level of education. And according to this research, we have discovered that people who are most informed in agricultural matters, they have much knowledge, so they do practice well their activities, they have good incomes, they use new techniques and new methods, and they quit the fact of being poor because they're using new technologies for good productivity, and this really raise their income. The sex also and the age, and in South Kivu, we have discovered that most of farmers are women, but although most of farmers are women, they don't have access to land, because in South Kivu, for example, to have a land is a matter of inheritance. And when we talk about inheritance, we see only boys who inherit their land from their parents. There is also another element, the access to credit. This element also is really an element which we must see with much attention, because we have discovered that now we said that most of the people who have access to credit, when, for example, they need money to buy manure, to buy chemical elements involved in agriculture, when they have access to credit, they have the possibility to increase their productivity and so on and so forth. So poor people, when they don't have access to credit, it really limits them in terms of going ahead in agricultural matter. So the non-significance of gender is particularly explained by the persistence, precariousness of rural women in South Kivu in relation to access to land. As I said, most of the time women don't access to land because men access to it by inheritance. And the result is that when the women who are more and more employed in agricultural activity don't have access to land, they keep remaining poor. The diversification of product operated by farmers in South Kivu is more of a safety first strategy than entrepreneurial strategy aimed at adapting to the environment and the market to guarantee sustainability of farms. Furthermore, improving farmers bargaining power reduce likelihood of their household being poor. The results collaborate with what was be found in Senegal. The value money received per hectare constitute a guaranteed income for rural household. That a viable farm is more likely to be, again, viable. What perspective for intelligent and entrepreneurial present agriculture? So this is among a real tough question that we should answer by making this research. The staff of sustainability of farm in South Kivu presented above leads us to propose some strategies capable of reducing poverty. And I'm very happy because in yesterday's meeting, they told us to leave no one behind and improving the food security and rural household in the province. The viability of the exploitation, consolidating their viability imposes on the various actors of the sector that they reinforce the double link of small agriculture of the market of the product and the inputs, the connection to product market. So the market is also among the elements that we really influences our results. So many people produce, I'm sorry, in South Kivu, they have products, but they don't access to market. So they remain poor, although the product is low. That's why we should also talk about road rehabilitation, because this also can help to reduce poverty. It means when people produce and they have roads, they can easily access to market. And according to this research, we have found 4 classes. As I said, we found 4 classes because we use the analysis of ACP. The aim of this statistic analysis was to collect some farmers into different classes according to their resemblance and differences. Do you hear me, please?
Yes,
Hello?
we hear you.
We
Yes,
can
we
hear
hear
you.
you.
Good. So the strategic role of farm size confirmed the link with adaptation of innovation as well as the commitment to more productivity and the excite from the safety first model for the market-oriented agriculture, the constraint of profitable placing of product on the market and access to this become the merger level of viability, and this led to the fact that South Kivu remained among provinces which needs help in terms of agricultural domain. So to conclude my expose of today, let me say 3 things. The first thing is that today we have so many people involved in agriculture in South Kivu, but these people need help. These people need orientation. These people need much experiences in terms of education, and these people need also to be equipped in terms of fertilizers, in terms of manure, in terms of everything they can need as incomes in terms of making their agricultural activities. So South Kivu remain among the provinces in Congo where we have a lot of people involved in agriculture. But the problem is that, is their agricultural system viable? Is their agricultural system viable? Of course. Is their agricultural system progressing? Do they face many problems. Actually, nowadays in South Kivu, we have so many diseases. For example, for cassava leaves, we have the MAM, African mosaic, which attacks cassava leaves. And this brings to the fact that we have so many losses in terms of food production. So these are the question that we should have in mind when doing agriculture. Is our system viable? Do we have access to credit? Do all agricultural indicators respected? Do we have also access to economic factors and indicators? Do we have also access to ecological factors? Do ecological factors allow us to perform well our activities? Because, for example, in South Kivu nowadays, we don't have rain, although people want to cultivate, but the environment doesn't allow us to have water in terms of agricultural performance. So many people can say we can irrigate, but we don't have water everywhere. So some people remain poor because of environmental stresses, because of not accessing to economic fact that is involved in agriculture. So I'm very happy again because I'll come back with this again, maybe in box, because I didn't finish to collect data from this paper, because I want to write a paper about this, the viability of activities, farming activities in South Kivu. So I'm very happy again, and thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Nicolas. Thank you for this brilliant expose. Thank you for this presentation.
Thank you.
These are, yeah, you're welcome. So we're going to the comments and the Q&A. If you have a question concerning what this presentation, then you kindly raise your hand. Yeah, I can see Madam Juliet. Yes, go ahead, Madam.
Thank you very much. Good evening to everyone and good morning to others.
Good evening.
Yeah, no, the network tends to kick me out on this gadget, so I'm glad I can ask the question. If I may, can I also ask? I'll ask the current speaker, but can I also ask the previous speaker, because my network kicked me out? I couldn't ask a question. Am I allowed to do that?
Hello?
Yes. I was asking.
Go ahead, Juliet, and type your question in the chat too, in case we lose you. But go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. No, thank you. No, to the current speaker, thank you again for the presentation. I know it's a follow-up of the previous one. The issue of the lack of ownership by women. I know you've raised it before, and it keeps on being raised several times. Is there part of the program that can assist women to have some rights to the land that they work on? Because as you clearly stated, women work the land, but they have no rights over land.
I would have to ask you to limit your questions to answers about the presentation only, about the answer to the presentation, about areas that we can't address, please. Thank you.
Okay. No, because he had alluded to that, but it's okay. Maybe it's just a comment and a recommendation. That's fine.
There's any recommendation? Go ahead.
Okay. No, that is the recommendation, that if we can look at ways of supporting women who work the land but don't own it. Okay.
Your comment on the current presentation?
Yes, that's meant for the current presentation.
For the current.
Okay. And on the previous presentation, if I may, I just wanted to know that what type of abuse do the women with disability face the most? This on the previous presentation. And also, what action is there to assist the women on the camp? Specifically, what action against the abuse is being taken on the camp? Because you've highlighted the abuse, but not the action against the abuse? Those are my only questions.
Again, I'd have to ask you to put that question in the chat, and let's deal with the current presentation questions. Thank you so much, Juliet.
All right, thank you.
Back to you, Mr. Lino. Mr. Lino.
Yeah.
Any questions for the Juliet's question for the president?
I can still see your hand.
Let me know my hand.
Any other question for the present presentation, the current presentation?
No, the next person, please.
Okay, the next person, the agenda. Then the next person is, hello? Yeah, hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Maybe the question asked by Juliet Miabo was really addressed to me, I think.
Then go ahead.
Okay, go ahead if you are intending to say.
Good. So her question was about do we have institution which are really because the matter was that the fact that in South Kivu, for example, women don't have access to land. Yeah, yes, of course. And as we said, according to the research that we found, men access in terms of inheritance to land. But let me show that nowadays we have women grouped in some association. We have so many women groups here in Bukavu, which really fight for their rights in terms of accessing to inheritance and all its aspects. I'm also among those group which really plead for the rights of the woman, because actually nowadays both men and women access the same, so they have the same rights to access to resource in terms of inheritance. But let me precise that in rural areas where the traditional system exists again, it is not easy for this to be applied. But for here in Bukavu, it can be applied, for example. But in rural areas, when there is a matter in terms of inheritance, it is the traditional method that is used again. So it will take again time to be reviewed again. Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, yes. Any other question? Any other question or comments? Okay.
Perhaps the presenter could let people know how to reach him, whether by email or WhatsApp or their website, so we can follow up with him after this. Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Okay. Then we go to the next presenter, who is also from Kenya, Mr. Augustine Lenamo. Are you there? Augustine, are you there? Hello? Hello? Mr. Augustine.
Okay.
The next presenter and the last from Kenya. Augustine, are you there? Probably he's not around. He's not there. We're supposed to present on moral regreening interventions. So if Mr. Augustine is not there, then we go to the last point, which is now AOB near that matter. The one sharing the screen. Yeah, that's the
Désactiver son tel activé.
able to achieve. Desactive. Balikwenda desactive.
I only shared because I thought Mr. Gossin is there.
You are the one who shared it.
Yes.
But he's not there. He's not there.
Okay, so maybe we can generally discuss
Uh-huh.
and look at, yes, and look at all the presentations and recommendations.
Yeah.
And what we can do best in terms of the model sessions to ensure that they are presentable, they are acceptable, and they are lucrative, and of course, and we have more viewers. So also maybe Andrew can also advise, give us a clear advice or an open advice here around what we can do best to ensure that we attract people more. This is for Africa, and we want all Africans to benefit from this as well as diaspora.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, Mr. Andrew.
I apologize, my device failed me. Please repeat the question, Carlos. I was out. I was not here. Please repeat the question.
Yeah, so since the next presenter is not there, so I'm saying we can discuss and look at our strengths and weaknesses and recommendations as to what is best for UnityNet Africa, especially the Monday session, how we can make it make it better, so that including even the presenters. For instance, one recommendation that Andrew has always been saying, and I also want to repeat that if you are presenting, ensure that your communicate information
Carlos, we lost your voice, or I lost it.
are all there on the you reduce people asking questions about how they can reach you. For instance, if you are presenting, make sure you provide a summary background of yourself and your organization so that people will be able to reach you, to contact you further. This is very, very important,
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted. So that's an example of it. But Andrew, maybe you can say more.
Well, I do see a message in the chat, and I ask us to pay attention to the chat. There have been other people that have joined us that have not yet introduced themselves, so perhaps now might be their time. Also, there's someone that joined with a galaxy. We need you to rename yourself with your actual name and or organization so that we'll be able to know who you are. And in terms of the recording, it's important for you to say your name each time you speak, so that when we go back, we can identify who said what. But it's important, as Carlos said, please put your information in the chat so we can follow up. But now perhaps, Mr. Lino, you could ask those who have just joined us to introduce themselves. Thank you. And we do have time, Carlos, for another half hour or so. So you can take however you choose to use that time. It's up to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew,
Thank
yes.
you very much. Yes.
I can see
Yes, so Henry.
Good evening from South Africa, Henry van der Merwe. I want to say 3 things tonight. The first thing is, can you hear me properly?
Yes, please. Go right ahead, Henrik.
The first thing is, I think we must give more attention to our presentations. Presentations shouldn't be a whole page of writing. It should only be the key points. We also need to give attention to the background, the layout, and that to reflect UnityNet. Remember, this presentation is going to Facebook, and the whole world is going to have a look at it. So I think Carlos, I think we must come up with with a set of templates for presentation to this meeting, a UNET template, so that they can use that as the basis of their PowerPoint presentation to be more effective. The second point that I want to make is that, you know, we are talking about our responsibility around the empowerment of women. I mean, the constitutions of most countries in the world and in Africa makes provision for that. You know, if you lease a piece of land, that takes precedent over the selling that land or whatever. While you've got a contract, you've got access to that land. And we need somebody from our legal team to have a look into the constitutions of the different countries, and so that we can give advice to our women, you know, how to go about when you start negotiating for a piece of land, so that there is contingency, so that there's continuation and sustainability around the legal issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And
Yes.
I would, this is Andrew Williams Jr. I would concur with Heinrich, and I must tell you that I've been observing the development of this team, and I'm glad we reached this point, because it's clear that it is important that we develop a template. I believe Mr. AHIABGA may be here. I know Juliet is here with the media team, but I recommend that Carlos, you pull them together so that we can create a template so that each of the presenters can then also promote the fact that this is in fact Africa and the diaspora. UnityNet is handling it. And even further, I suggest that we include a way that anyone seeing any of our content can have a way to reach us and in fact participate. But those are things that I think now is critically important that we use going forward. As you may or may not know, the entire intent of this past year has been for us to get comfortable with making these presentations. But now, in order to take us to the next step, they have to be professionally produced so that we can reach a worldwide audience and not just a local audience. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, sir.
I agree with you, Andrew. That's really, really true. AHIABGA and Juliet are the communication ICT representative for UnityNet Africa and Diaspora. So they have the responsibility to ensure that they can request for any presentation that is going to be done. So that's why they should collaboratively work with the Continental Secretariat, the Continental Secretary, the lead and the vice and the deputy, and also work with myself and my team so that whatever presentation is going to be done, they are also responsible to look at that presentation in terms of communication, information, communication, and transformation, so that it is smart and it is really absorbable for the audience. Yeah.
What I'm saying to you, Carlos, is that you are discussing what we can do and need to do. I'm saying to you, it's time to do it.
Great, that's fine. Thank you so much, Andrew. And I want to do a short presentation for those who join us today, just to know a little bit about UnityNet Africa and Diaspora. That this was really a presentation done on the 23rd for the African Day. All right, but however, I want all of us to understand that we are currently trying to get a formal connection, a formal partnership with African Union, the AU, and the ECOSOC. It's very, very important because they are the lead in Africa, and whatever we are doing, we are working with them, and they have been there. We want to we do it rightly, so that we'll be able to get the rightful support, from them as full guns. So this is our logo. I want people to know it, to see, to look at it. UnityNet Africa and Diaspora. And also people should understand that we are completely supporting the 17 SDGs, all right, the UN SDGs. We are in complete support of them. And of course, those are examples of some of our partners. Of course, Uganda, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Guinea, of course, the Canada team, the Canada and the US, and most of the African countries. We are currently there. So I just want to look at a sharp background about us, what is UnityNet and what we stand for. That's the UnityNet African Diaspora is a humanitarian enterprise, a regional sustainable and regenerative development corporation, supporting and promoting the local delivery of open source regenerative climate smart infrastructure, set up as a lifeline learning gardens. We are leveraging a unique process for localizing the delivery and achievement of the global goals, starting with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, UN SDGs. That is where you can find our address. Of course, I've shown it earlier. So I want us to look at our vision. Our vision is a future where every African citizen on planet Earth will have an opportunity to not only participate in, but also to benefit from the development and implementation of the regenerative economy that is required for humanity to be in balance with all of the rest of the natural world, as mandated by the limitation imposed upon humanity by the laws of nature. This is exactly our focus. So in umbrella, you look at it, this is our focus. A world united through a global network that is focused on the practical establishment of virtual and physical infrastructure that is designed and structured for the efficient delivery of education and training in support of humanitarian entrepreneurship, and which will be done in the context of various sustainable and regenerative physical, cultural, STEM-based solutions that will be required for humanity to achieve the global goals, starting with the Sustainable Development Goals. So I look at our mission that says to formalize the process of localizing the global goals, starting with Sustainable Development Goals, and establish a framework and platform for delivering the required local education and training for achieving regenerative economy that leaves no one behind. So therefore, this encourages all of us, every one of us, to come on board to ensure that this particular focus, this particular development paradigm that is planned by UnityNet and alongside with all our international partners supporting the process currently. So we encourage anyone that joins us now and those outside there in the world for them to join us so that we'll be able to rebrand Africa. This is exactly our goal. This is exactly our vision, our mission. This is what we plan to do, and we have started already. The tree planting process started, yesterday, of course, though it started last year, 2021, but we continue with it yesterday. And so we're going to continue promoting tree planting in Africa. That is one of our ultimate, and also to promote food sufficiency, food security in Africa. And then all the other benefits or all the other thematic areas I mentioned are equally important to support Africa to go ahead to develop. So if I may do a short presentation about us, this is exactly where we are. So you can ask questions about us. You are free to say or to add into what we are doing currently, and you are welcome to add into our development plan right now. We need funds, we need logistics, we need capacity to ensure that we move forward. We actualize our dream. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think there are some new people who have just joined us. Okay, so I want those people to kindly introduce themselves. If there's any guest.
Also, Mr. Lino, there are questions in the chat from some of our guests, so perhaps you can review the chat to address those questions.
Yeah. Yes, is there any guest?
If I may, what Prince Andrew was saying was that we could possibly look at the questions in the chat and maybe read those out if there are any, please.
Yeah, you look at the chat and ask questions.
Well, Carlos, in the meantime, if I may be so bold, I'd like to take the opportunity to hold everyone accountable for the outcomes of what we're doing. And Carlos, I have to tell you point blank that it's critical that we have to, as Henrik is suggesting, we have to start adding numbers to what we're talking about. For example, this vision statement is good. The words about what we want to do, they're great. But let me share my screen with you briefly. And I bring this to your attention.
Andrew, we are losing you. Andrew, we lose you. We don't get you clear, please.
What we're trying to accomplish. One of those things is that it is the name of this organization is Africa, and I'm sorry, it's the excuse me, AfricaNet Diaspora. Well, let me start all over again here. When you use the word
African diaspora,
when you use the word UnityNet Africa and Diaspora, then you're talking about very specific things. You're not only talking about the 54, actually 55 countries on the African continent, but you're also talking about the diaspora. The diaspora has a specific meaning to the African Union, and it does mean, as it was determined in Sandtown, Johannesburg in 2012, specifically those people born outside the continent of Africa who align themselves with the African Union's constitution and goals and aims. However, each of the 55 countries has their own diaspora commission, or at least most of them do, and their intent is to accomplish the objectives that were laid out in the Agenda 2063. I don't recall you addressing any of those things in your conversations, and I think it's a disservice to all of us if we don't educate ourselves about the ecosystem that we're working within. For example, it was in 2012 that was outlined that there are specific Africa diaspora legacy projects. Africa flagship projects that apply to the African Union Agenda 2063. Right now, you're in the first 10-year implementation plan of the African Union Agenda 2063 from 2013 to 2023. That's why I included 2023 in what we're doing to hope to encourage you to understand that we don't have to start from scratch, but we do have to admit and recognize the blueprint that exists. For example, those 5 legacy projects, I believe, are what this group should be focusing their attention on to show the African Union that we know what we're talking about. That includes the African Skills Database, African Diaspora Development Market, African Institute for Remittances, African Diaspora Investment Fund, and African Diaspora Volunteer Corps. We are already doing parts of those things. I'm just suggesting that we don't act like we have to be the ones to create the solutions out of thin air. The other thing is that the words that you're using do have very much relevance. But the United Nations Global Compact, for example, they have already designated $500 billion to address the sustainable development goals that you're talking about. How does everything we're talking about involve ourselves with that? So I'm just encouraging us all to link together what we're doing individually with what's happening on a global scale, and then we can hold ourselves accountable to be able to show how what we're doing impacts that, so we can then attract these funding and support that we deserve. Thank you.
Andrew. Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Leno, I got pushed out. I was kicked off. Yes, I was kicked off.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
That was just, I hope you heard what Mr. Andrew said.
Okay, that I think that's a good observation, of course, and that is true for UnityNet Africa. That's why we have the aspect of diaspora. So we are both working together, those in Africa and those outside Africa.
Outside
so
Africa.
all of us, yeah, of course, we are working on the same goal to promote. You see what Andrew is doing now, you know.
Yeah.
So he has provided his own, you know, free. We are not paying, you know. That is his own contribution, which is very, very unique, you know. So we are looking for several Africans who are in Africa and outside Africa in the diaspora to come in and support the process. All right. This is for all of us. Thank you. As I'm seeing other names, I mean, hands up.
Yeah, I do see other hands, other people coming in, but let me reply. Even though you may consider it to be free, it's not. I consider my time worth $120 an hour to do this. So my company, my corporation is sponsoring anything I do, so it's not free. It is have a value. And I urge each of you to put a value on your own time, because when we represent ourselves as consultants to provide these services, we have to be very clear about what services we provide, what our charges are, and how we spend our time doing this. So I just recommend everyone take a responsibility to understand you are an independent agent, you are your own best business enterprise, you are your small, medium enterprise, and you have to, I believe, represent yourself in that manner when you work with and through your nonprofit organization. Nonprofit doesn't mean no money. It means that you're focused on a specific outcome, but it still has to adhere to the same business rules that everything else does. Otherwise, you cannot engage with business, and business is the main driver of outcomes, more so than even government. There are corporations that have a greater wealth than most of the governments on the continent of Africa. we can deal directly with those corporations, but we have to be ready. I'll lower my hand now. I think someone else has a hand raised. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
That is great. Yes, that is great.
Good.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Yes, I can see your hand. Chapter, Guinea chapter, yes. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mohamed Barry. It has been a while since I last attended this meeting. So due to my, personal problems, but thank God, it's getting better now. So I'm glad to be part of this meeting today. I know we are in the verge of progress. So all I want to say, I just want to apologize for not being part of this meeting for a while. Then again, I want to just to say to comment, to tell people to be, to be part, because as I'm saying, this organization is an organization that is trying to build, Africa. So we need to put hands across to work together, to commit ourselves and to work together. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, is there any other suggestion or recommendation? Now we are the last point, which is AOB. Is there any other matter? Hello? Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Kato.
Yes. Good evening from Tanzania.
Good evening.
Yes, it has been a while. Yes, it has been a while. I've not been seen here due to some hardship that I faced. My kids were sick here and there. Maybe I would like to deliver, at least submit the issue that we had yesterday on the Environmental Day ceremonies on symbolizing the tree of peace and the reconciliation. In fact, I had not planted trees by yesterday, and it was Sunday day, so it was impossible for me to do that. But today, on Monday, I have done it. I have planted actually 15 fruit trees here in Dodoma at the school known as Inzuguni Secondary Schools. I planted actually 15 fruit tree seedlings, analyzed into 5 avocado fruit seedlings and 5 German tree seedlings and 5 passion tree seedlings. And the requirement was to submit the visuals of, it might be videos or photos to be taken. And actually, I'll do that through the official email that which was just given previously. So I also thank you, Andrew, and the whole team on board, including Professor Carlos, Leod, and whoever in board, and actually congratulating the whole movement, the process building this UnityNet, actually Africa and diaspora. In short, that's, I wanted simply to actually giving a kind of information on the issue of tree of peace and the reconciliation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Kato.
And make sure again, we have your contact information in the chat, follow up. We do want to thank you so much for your work. And you're absolutely right. Yesterday was the day of official Environmental Day, but Environmental Day is every day. So we will be making available anyone that has photos or videos or content about tree planting to submit them to the official email or to Carlos, and we'll add that to our presentation going forward because we're looking to next year. So we have 364 more days to go. Thank you so much, Mr. Cato, for taking us off in the right way.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andrew. And so what I also want to add to Mr. Cato and others who have not submitted their trees they planted yesterday, including today. So please consider the following to ensure that we have the rightful data. One, we want to know the name of the tree. Number two, the quantity of trees you plant or you have planted. Number three, we want to know the community where the planting took place. And number four, we also want to get the pictures or photos that of those trees. That's very, very key. And then the other thing is we also want you to help us with the GPS coordinates for those trees. The reason why we are taking the coordinates is because they will help us to locate our trees. All the trees that we've started planting right from 2021 onto this day, all those that are recorded with coordinates, we have those trees, we know where they are, and they are part of Google Earth. So we'll be able to so when we are showcasing to partners to support us, we will have examples that this is what we've been doing on our own. This is what we've been doing. So can you come and help us? Maybe you help us with some logistics. Maybe you help us with some money. Maybe you help us with some capacity building, etc. in all these ones. So that's why the database for UnityNet is very, very important. And I know that the ICT team, the communication team, together with the secretariat, they are working on it to ensure that we have our data ready so that we can share the necessary information with our partners as we are going along partnering with potential partners to support our work, what we are doing. So thank you again, Mr. Philip Cato. We appreciate you. And I know that other people also did numerous tree planting business yesterday. So, but yet, please submit what you have done so that we'll be able to put it together as an integral part. Thank you. And don't forget, we've also shared our contacts. So our email is there, our phone numbers are there. So, and currently we want to tell people that our current secretariat is in Kampala, Uganda. All right, so though we're in the process of fulfilling all the compliance system, so ensure that we work. Yeah.
Yes, Andrew.
Well, thank you so much. Please look in the chat. There are many sponsors and supporters of this effort, not just me individually as Andrew Williams Jr., but many of the organizations I represent, including 5 Points Youth Foundation, based here in Los Angeles, California. But another of our key sponsors is the Ed Fu Foundation. And I put the information in the chat because it's time for us to move from being an unincorporated association to having a fiscal agency to support what we're doing so that we can, in fact, generate income and payment for all of our activities. On the Ed Fu Foundation page, you'll actually find that their commitment is to the indigenous people worldwide, which includes this very group, as well as the people that meet on Thursday. But the Ed Fu Foundation also has a partnership request form. It's going to be important, Carlos, for you to pull together, I think, with Heinrich and others, a specific proposal for what you want to accomplish, what budget you're looking at for us to actually do the work that you have in mind, and specifically a description of, as was just said, what we're currently doing. Because the idea is that the objective is to find people that are supporting our efforts. We have to be the ones to package what we do in such a professional way that it is respected and accepted. So I'm calling all of you out now to get yourselves ready for prime time. The climate chaos that we're going through now, it will not stop. So we have to address the issues that are facing us for the health of ourselves, our communities, and our planet. So there are tools available, but we have to be ready to take advantage of it. So I'm just asking everyone now to let's stop playing and get serious. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandro. Thank you. That is a very important thing. Yeah.
So is there any other
Point.
recommendation, suggestion? Yes. Otherwise, at this time, we're going to close.
Is there any other thing to say?
So may I ask you a question? It's Juliet.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. This is in regards to the organizations such as the EDFU Foundation and others that I know that Prince Andrew gives us access to. The question I'd like to know is, as UnityNet African Diaspora, are we going to approach those before registration, or should we actually have a session maybe to see how we can maximize those opportunities? Because I find that there are quite a lot of them and they have been mentioned. What would be our approach as an organization, UnityNet African Diaspora?
So I think this is a good question. And we go back as a board to meet and discuss these suggestions that came up. And so thank God you are a member and we are here. So let's go back and have a board meeting to discuss where we are and the way forward. So this is a very good one, so that we make use of short opportunity for what we have now as a plan. So these are my thoughts. Juliet.
Are you there?
Juliet, are you there?
She's not there.
Yes, she's there. She's having two domains. All right, okay, that's great. So is there any other thing, the way forward? We want to move now. We want to move UnityNet Africa and Diaspora. And that will only work when both the diaspora and the resident Africans work together. What are we going to do to ensure that we achieve our dream? So let's think of all this. Please, whatever suggestions, whatever connections you have, anything you think that is important, you think will help this vehicle to move forward, to ensure that we'll be able to have a safe landing point, please do so. Don't go to anybody and start to grumble. Bring your good ideas. Let's discuss them. If not now, you can bring them later. We have our common domains, or you have the contacts already. You can email us. You can share whatever you think that will help all of us move as African resident and African diaspora. Thank you. I think, Mr. Leno, you can close this meeting now. as
Okay.
that is my closing remarks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. We thank everybody. Yeah. So those who made it today to attend or to participate at this wonderful meeting, we thank all of you. And say bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Whilst you are
Yeah.
saying bye-bye, if you can show your video, that's fine. Just show
Yeah.
video and say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's very
Just a small
Bye.
thank you. Yes.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see you from there.
That is
Okay,
great.
see you. Yeah.
Gabriela, oh, Nicolais.
All right,
Okay.
everyone. Next time.
Okay,
Okay.
next time.
Next
Bye-bye.
time,
Thank you,
Sango.
Andrew. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.